Welcome to the first episode of How They Do Business, where we talk to business owners and senior managers about how they ensure success for themselves and their teams. And I try to select specific beers that match the person or their palate. Today we're James Orsini, the president of Sasha Group, previously COO of Vayner Media. Welcome, James.
It's good to be here, and today we'll select a alcohol-free beer.
Yes. Unfortunately, James has let us know that he's no longer drinks, so there'll be no beers on my first ever podcast. But that's okay. I bought a beer for him, and I selected it specifically for him, but it's okay. Start us off. Can you tell us a quick 30 seconds of how you got here into this role and your journey so far?
Yeah, so I was, as you said, formerly the COO of Vayner Media. I had done that for just about 4 years, and then Gary came to me and said, hey, I'm on the cover of Entrepreneur magazine. I got 6 million followers, and we built a company to service Fortune 500. I don't have a product for these small and mid-sized businesses. I really have a passion for the entrepreneur. Obviously, he's a leader in that space. And he's like, how'd you like to start something new? And I said, yeah, great, I'm up for it. We had, when I got in there, the company was around 42 million, a little under 400 people. By the time I left, it was about 150 million, a little over 800 people. It'll probably be north of 200 million, maybe close to 1,000 people by the end of this year. So it was a good time to pivot and start something new. And we knew that we hit a vein really fast because within the first 48 hours we had 4,700 inquiries. So we were like, oh, this is a space that people aren't paying attention to.
Mm-hmm. Cool. I guess when you have 4,700 inquiries, how do you actually pick which one you want to go for?
Well, so 4,700 inquiries does give you moxie to pick who you want to work with. So we've been kind of selective in the type of clients that we want to do. We had a pretty good CRM system, and it allowed us to really peel back the onion. And what we really saw was that maybe 3,000 of those inquiries were, certainly nothing more than a great idea, maybe an early stage company. So we kind of repositioned it for, hey, we are really for funded startups doing at least 1 million in revenue.
Yep.
Our sweet spot's probably the 3 to 50 million range right now, but we service up to 100 million in revenue.
Cool. You were previously a COO, and now you're the president of Sasha.
Mm-hmm.
What are some of the key things that you make sure that you do when you're managing teams or projects? Do you have a specific process, or how do you go about it?
Yeah, I don't ask anybody to do what I wouldn't do for myself, right? So I'm the first to do my timesheets. I do all my expenses the right way. I make the coffee if I come in early in the morning. I disconnect the iPad if I'm the last person out. Like, I just simply try to operate by example, rather than just say, you do this. It's more facilitation than delegation, right? So delegating, it's something you're supposed to do and somebody else does it. And facilitation is you kind of get a feel for what people do really well, and then you kind of bring it together.
Have you always been that way?
Yeah, I have been. I've been, I sort of gravitate to leadership positions, not so much because I raise my hand and say, hey, coach, put me in, but more because people kind of choose to follow, and then it just kind of comes around, and then I accept it willingly, so, but I realize it's a big responsibility, and I don't take it lightly. I'm fortunate to be able to do it.
How do you measure your success? Like, what makes you go, yeah, I was successful in my role, or I was successful in my job? Or?
I have each day a purpose to help one person outside of business. So
okay.
I make the time. Yesterday was a small group who have a cannabis, CBD, hemp type offering. We don't service that here. Gary has a separate company for that does it. But I could tell that they were onto something but struggling and how to monetize it. And I gave them a half hour of my time. I connected them with 3 folks, and off they went. I saw that they posted pictures of me today on
Oh, yeah.
Instagram and everything. So that kind of stuff, maybe a kid that's looking for a job, a charity that's looking for advice or direction. So I feel good about the day if I'm able to help somebody as well as get my stuff done.
Do you corner stuff up in the day to actually schedule that, or is it just?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I live by a schedule,
Okay.
so it's how I get as much stuff done. As you know, because we've interacted, I try not to have a to-do list. Like if I say I'm going to do something, like I'm remembering it right there. I'm hitting a text. I'm sending an email. I am, thinking about, okay, where is that document that I'm talking about right now? Because I'm going to push that out immediately.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it helps me. I don't come back to like a load of memories.
Yeah. So is it just speed then? So it's just like, is that allow you to have speed?
That's kind of what Gary taught me. Speed is really a point of differentiation. Speed over perfection. In fact, I love when we launched the Sasha Group. He said the Sasha Group will stick a fork in the eye of perfection. And what he meant was, look, we're not going to waste time trying to perfect things down here for these small businesses. We're gonna get them to market quickly.
Yeah.
So, but I also understand that speed without control is reckless.
Yeah.
Right. So, somewhere between those two parameters is where we should live.
How do you judge that parameter?
It's not easy. So when Gary introduced me at Vayner, I'll never forget, I stood up in front of what was probably then 300 or 400 people, and I was like, I'm here to help keep everything, keep the company on the rails, and he was like, hold on, he walked in front of it, and he's like, James, you're here to help me hover above the rails like a Japanese train so I can move faster. That was day one.
Yeah.
And I heard it loud and clear. This is about speed.
Did that switch the way that you usually operate, or is it just emphasized?
Yeah, it did. Yeah. It did. So I'm more of a zip code kind of guy. Like I could viscerally feel where something should be around. And then I have to rely on others to really hone in on it. But I got a good feel for, hey, this should be about that. So it's funny because I'm working with 3 ladies now helping me on the finances and stuff here. And I'm like, the revenue's gonna be about that, the profit should be around that. And last month I was within 10,000 on the revenue and I think 12,000 on the profit. And they're like, how do you do that? Because you're not really sending out the invoices, you're not the guy who's servicing all the clients. We have 40-something people here.
Right.
But it's just it's a visceral feel that can get me in the zone if you want.
So you're living, I guess, under one of the great CEOs being Gary, and everyone knows him and notoriety around being an entrepreneur, and a lot of people, and he talks about a lot in terms of everyone wanting to be an entrepreneur now. Everyone's like, I want to own my own business and do all that. Why do you feel that people want to aspire to do that versus something like a COO? Do you find that people ever want to be a COO or that kind of role? Or
look, when you're a young person, I didn't start out in public accounting saying, hey, someday I'm going to be a COO. You know what I mean? Because you don't know what you don't know, right? So you got to see a lot of things. From an early age, I was always better in a bigger environment and working, in a structure.
Yeah.
Although I grew up around entrepreneurs. My dad had his own business, my brother had his own business, my sister had her own business. So I just kind of knew that wasn't really what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
But I always saw myself as an entrepreneur enabler. Just like the example I gave you yesterday, the husband and wife team that came in, and they're entrepreneurs, but they came here for their advice and counsel. I think I gave them good advice, In fact, they were appreciative of a little gift up there too. I know entrepreneurship is sexy now. It's a buzzword. This is also what Gary is filtering.
Yeah.
Careful. Not everybody really there is we're not
It's
getting on
not that
private
sexy.
jets.
Yeah.
You know that, right? You were a 5-hour delay in LA. It's not all about private jets and champagne and things like that. So there's a lot of hard work here.
Yeah.
And I think that was the big difference for me at the Sasha Group was, I was used to dealing with brand managers who had budgets, and now, I'm dealing with CEOs and founders, where I feel really fortunate that they trust me with the advice and counsel, because it's hard-earned money, that they're going to be spending.
What do you see the differences? Because you've been a CEO before, and then you're a COO, and now you're president. Are they all very similar roles, or do you key differences? Why?
Well, look, the CEO usually sets the vision.
Yeah.
President or operator sets the strategy.
Yeah.
Right. And then the leadership team, executes with determination and order and whatnot. In fact, when we launched the Sasha Group, Gary was like, "Okay, you're going to be the CEO," and I said, "No, you know what? You should be the CEO. I'll be the president. I'll run everything for you, but you have the vision. This is, you know what you want to do here."
Yeah.
Year one has been good. I do it at least, once or twice a month, checking in with him to make sure that what it is that we're doing is in accordance with his direction. He owns it sometimes, he changes it, he molds it, he injects something that he might have seen this month that, wasn't seen last month.
Mm-hmm.
So in fact, in our last meeting, he actually said, the Sasha Group is the most Gary-centric of my offerings. And what that meant is that our client base is most closely aligned with his following.
Yeah.
So he was trying to tell me, watch what I'm doing closely. If I'm leaning into the voice and podcasting, you should be.
Yeah.
And in fact, I actually told my guys, you have to have a texting solution. And they're like, why? I said, because Gary's all about text.
Yeah.
Okay, and if we're the most Gary-centric,
Yeah.
how can we not? So now we have an email solution for our clients, we have a texting solution for our clients. So, he gives me these little nuggets of gold, and then
You run with
we operationalize them and put them into effect.
Why did you decide that you wanted? Well, you were the CEO, and then you went back to being a COO when you were previously a COO. Do you enjoy the operating more than you do the vision, or what is that?
Yeah, so it was funny when, so I left Saatchi. I was Chief Operating Officer of Saatchi & Saatchi. And then I had a few job offers. And the truth be told, the reason why I left was because I was likely going to end up in a very senior financial role there. Like, it was going to be a promotion, but I didn't want it. So I was like, okay, I'm done with finance now. I had been, I am a CPA, I've been an auditor, I've been a controller, I've been a CFO. I've done that all, and I just felt that I was a much better businessman than I ever was accountant.
Mm-hmm.
So operations is where I was at. So now, leaving Saatchi, I get an opportunity to be a CEO of a small publicly traded technology company. I'm like, great, never been a CEO, don't know anything about technology, and I've never been a publicly traded company, so this sounds like a good job for me. And I did it, and it was a hard job, it was a lonely job. I had a 3-year contract, I stood 3.5 years. And then post that, now I was going to figure out what am I going to be. And I read a book called Consigliere, Leading or Ruling from the Shadows, by a guy by the name of Richard Heitner. And it was about being a great number two. It was about how he stepped back from being a CEO to being like a vice chairman kind of thing. Stepping out of the spotlight, but really running a lot of stuff from the sidelines. And I'm like, this is kind of who I am. This is, and I took the number one spot on because so many people were telling me, why are you always a number two? Like, you could really be the number one. Like, what are you doing? So, I was just kind of comfortable in that role. And, when you're confident, Gary was like, well, that's the first time somebody took a step back on a title I wanted to give them. I didn't need to be the CEO. He's the CEO, and I'll be the president here.
Okay. If you had any advice for people that are CEOs now, that want to be more successful, or maybe people that are going to move into a COO role, do you have a key piece of advice?
Yeah, I think if as a CEO, if I had a me as my COO, I may still be a CEO. I don't know. You have to really get yourself a strong operator. No, great CEOs are not short of vision; they're short of execution. So who helps them execute the vision? They're busy people, and they're chock full of ideas. I kind of prided myself on that, even working with Gary, but multiple CEOs before Gary, they could talk about something that they've been thinking about, and I'm like, yeah, I can help you with that. I can make that work. So I was always that kind of guy. I was always the executor, the enabler, a business plan behind a dream kind of guy.
Cool. If you could achieve one more thing in your career, what would it be and why?
I think I would like to, I'd like to probably sit on a big publicly traded board, because I think I could bring real value in a boardroom, which is typically stacked with, retired, has-been kind of folk, and I think, I think I could add real value from, I have the financial acumen, I have the marketing acumen, I have a great North Star for integrity. So, all of those are so desperately needed. I understand the value of culture. I excel in diversity and initiatives like that. So,
Go for it.
Yes, I really think that, unfortunately they tick a box and I probably wouldn't fit in the tick box notion. But that would be, one thing that I'd like to, have on the resume.
Last question to close us out. In as many words as you like, James Orsini, how do you do business?
I do business based on something that Gary lives by, which is doing the right thing is always the right thing. So I don't ask them to do what I wouldn't do myself. Right? We had that conversation in leadership, so I do it the same way for the clients. We run this like a consultancy as opposed to an agency, which means that we very much sit in the maitre d' kind of seat. So even despite what you may ask across the table, if my 30-year experience tells me you need something different, I'm going to be painstakingly honest and take you down that path. There is no substitute for wisdom and experience, and that's what I have. We have a lot of smart people here, people much smarter than me, and they're disciplines. You remember Sid today I saw, maybe Russell on the e-commerce side, they got their disciplines now. But I'm the guy with the wisdom and the experience, so,
Cool. All right, well, thank you. Remember, listeners, I am Tyson Tripcony. If you like this episode of How They Do Business with James Orsini, please leave a review. And if you want to hear more and have a beer with us, please subscribe so you never miss a thing. Thanks.
Great.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thanks, man.
Right.
Done.